Good morning, everyone. It's Tyne from Muse Life, and welcome to this amazing morning activation reading, everyone. It's the Sturgeon Super Blue Moon in Aquarius morning reading today. There's a lot going on. I've missed a few readings on my Wednesdays just because there's so much going on this month in August with Lionsgate and the new moon, and as well as the full moon coming up kind of around different times. So we're kind of just shuffling around a little bit, but we're back on track. Let's get started on our reading, everyone. I want you all to kind of just like hone in, settle down. Imagine that you're all part of this beautiful, amazing, vast, energetic grid that encompasses the whole of the universe. And imagine that you're all just beautiful, amazing lights on that grid, everyone. There's a lot going on. We do have the blue moon in Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. So that's all about self-control and challenges, everyone. And we're definitely getting a lot of challenges because even though we have just finished Lionsgate, we're still kind of rolling in on some of that energy as we're like entering, further into this dragon year, this amazing 8 dragon year. But currently in this month, we still have Mercury retrograde going on, but I think it's really going to be balancing with some of that Aquarius energy, because Aquarius is really all about self-control and mastery, as well as being more of the humanitarian sign, and it really cares more about like the spiritual things and those kind of more esoteric, outwardly things versus what's going on in the 3D world. And that's really cool, you guys. So as we enter in this reading, I want you all to kind of just focus on what it is the universe wants to let you know, and what do you want to know for yourself, you guys, because this is all about you as well. There's definitely a lot going on, and we do want to address that as we move forward. We got some interesting cards coming up in our spread. Let's go through this, everyone, and as I enter into this reading, I'm also going to pull one card from the map deck, and let's move on. Whoa, you guys. So it's interesting because it's also, today is 8/18/2024. Definitely a lot of like Lionsgate energy still going on with the 888. It's also, if you add it all together, the number 7, and 7 is really a very spiritual number, tapping more into your spiritual knowledge as well as your spiritual wisdom. So really tapping into that right now. Let's see what the universe wants to let us know today, you guys. Where are we today? What's going on with us? What's happening with us currently? What kind of energies are we honing in on? And I'm telling you guys, here we have is, and it being the 7th day, the universe just really loves to play with our numbers and give us these symbols and signs. We got the number 17 with the star, you guys. 17 has the number 7, and it also equates to the number 8. So you got some of that Lionsgate energy is just still kind of passing through us. 8's all about manifesting, bringing in some of that power. Definitely a lot of giving and receiving. A lot of material flow going on. I hope you guys are experiencing that. And with the star, you guys in particular, it's all about like really honing in on some of that spiritual energy, being in the spotlight, you guys. Some of you guys are really shining. You guys are like in your gear, and you got all the, constellations. So you got the 8 stars here. You got a lot of water energy. Almost has some water bearer energy, some Aquarius energy in there, right, you guys? So I love that. I love how we're connecting to that. Definitely with this Aquarius energy, you're really going to be honing in on some of those dynamics. It's going to be an emotional time, you guys, just because it is a super blue moon. But with Aquarius, it's really going to be more like contemplative, really kind of like honing in and trying to master some of that energy that we have, you guys. And especially right now, I'm seeing a lot of like more better communication in groups. So you might be having a lot of miscommunications, and even internally, things probably aren't really sitting too well with you. But if you kind of can get out into like groups, and Aquarius is all about community and it loves being in group dynamics. So if you're really gonna like go out there and just kind of like, you know, put yourself with your tribe, with people that really, you know, bring out the best in you, and you're really gonna see some improvement in some of those communications, kind of offsetting a little bit of what's going on with Mercury retrograde right now. But this is really exciting, you guys. You got this start. You guys are really shining in your element, especially when it comes to people and things and communicating. That is just going so well right now for so many people. You know, please like our heart if that is true for you. Let's move on. Let's go see what's been going on in the past. What have you been kind of just like sitting with, the universe is having us dealing with what's been going on. And this is interesting. I love how the numbers are coming out the way they are, because here we got a number 8. And of course, I love the fact that it's kind of like, once again, reminding us Lionsgate. Lionsgate is just going to be echoing throughout this year, you guys, because really it's a doorway to our, you know, just a new path, elevating us to, you know, our purpose. So I love that. So we have the 8 of Pentacles, and you got this hardworking guy, just really like, you know, mastering his craft and just really enjoying what he does, right? So this is more on the earthly level, you guys, more on the material level, because, you know, Pentacles is all more about money and material things. So, but you guys are really, wherever you guys are doing for work right now, and it might not necessarily be your job. It might actually kind of also be, you know, something that you've taken on in terms of what you are really meant to do. And that's not always your job, you guys. I know a lot of us, I was just talking to a friend the other day. It was like, yeah, we have work, we do this to make money, but I also do this, which is really, you know, what's giving me more gratification. It's really like fulfilling my soul. So wherever you guys are doing currently, you're really like, especially with Lionsgate, really just opening the doors, smashing open wide. You're really getting some of that like just amazing energy of like fulfillment, especially in terms of like what you're manifesting for your, you know, just your work and what you do, whether it be for a living or what you bring to, you know, the collective. This is amazing, guys. And the number 8 is really all about manifesting some of that karmic value, what you've been putting in. But I think a lot of us have really been, you know, putting in some of that good stuff. So what we're coming out is just like, it's just amazing. We're really starting to see the fruits of our labor, and it's just like really showing itself right now. We're in Leo season, you guys. You know, Leos are like the show me sign, and it really just loves to impress. So wherever we are right now, you guys are definitely getting some of that energy, and please hone in on that. This is going to be an amazing month as we move forward, and this is really going to be what's going to like kind of project us to what we need to be doing. And I love that. And what has been helping us through that, you guys. And I love it. I love how it's the 7th day and the universe is saying, boom, here's a number 7 with the Chariot. And really, this is what's been kind of helping with that. And a lot of this have been like these, you know, really honing in on some of our transdimensional hopping right now. We've really been like, you know, not just doing things in the material level and manifesting there. We've also been like really tapping in and just like moving through our spiritual sides. That's so important to some of us. And I'm sensing that. It's really been what's been helping us like kind of like get to where we need to go and achieve some of the things that we've been achieving. Because you know what, you guys, it's not all about what goes on here on the 3D. It's also like, what are we connecting to and tapping into up there in the spiritual? And the Chariot really taps into a lot of that. You're getting so much duality right here, you know, contrasting between your light and your dark. You got that action, you got a journey going on. You guys are really like pushing through this. And you know, this is like one of the major arcanum cards, one of the ones you want to focus on. And this is something that's been helping us through our past. So some of us who've been doing the work, the spiritual work, when you come onto my readings, you guys, you know, this isn't like the material reading. This is like you know, literally like the meat and the potatoes. This is like the deep stuff. I go deep. So, you know, this is some of us really doing the work. And that's what's been supporting us. It's been bringing us through Lionsgate, through past and through and forward. And now we're just forward moving. And, you know, think about the Chariot, just action driven and challenging, and you know, and not in the material sense. This is like in the spiritual sense. What's going on up there? So I love that. This is something that's been going on in the past. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. This is our collective reading. So if you want to hone in on whatever questions you are interested in, definitely follow me. And I will definitely connect with you at the end of this reading, everybody. So let me go ahead and reach out. But here we are. Hello, Haley. Thank you so much for joining us. And I will definitely connect with you once I'm done with this reading. This is our collective one, and it can apply to what's going on with you at the moment. So here we have something that was going on in the past, and what's been supporting that. And Chariot is a really powerful, definitely a powerful card to bring that in. And where we are right now. And if you missed this reading, you can always wait till the very end, and you will get a replay. Here we are with the Star card. So a lot of us are really shining in our element, you guys. We've been pushing through. We've been doing the hard work. The Chariot's been bringing us through, right? And here we are with the Star card. You guys are totally shining right now. And like I said, this is like Leo season. Leo loves to be extravagant, loves to show off. We love to like play. So everything we do is like, you know, not only is it hard work, because God, you guys, this whole month I've been working really hard. I've been feeling it, but I've been enjoying every bit of it. It's really been great. So what's to come in the next few years, because my readings are just really just encompassing, you know, maybe a few weeks or out in the month at most. I can always do a little bit further, but when it comes to the readings, you know, it's just stays within what's going on right now, like the now. So here we have, and this is not too bad. I know a lot of people kind of look at the Judgment card with a bit of like, is this a good or bad card? And it can be both, actually. It just really depends on where you are and what you're thinking. Because this is the 20th card, you guys. The number 2, which is all about duality and opening. Not just that, it's like facing the light in the dark. So think of the number 2. And also a doorway that's opening up into a new. And like you guys, of all the doorways, we definitely have Lionsgate going on, right? So some of that energy is definitely here. And this is actually the new number in my shop too, which is really interesting. So I love that. So we have Judgment. Right now, there's like a decision that needs to be made. You guys, some of us are definitely going to be getting that wake-up call. I got that going on right now. The universe is saying, hey, shine right now, you guys. But in the next, what's to come, we really need to start honing in. We need to start taking things a little bit more seriously. We need to really start kicking it into gear and like, you know, start doing what our life purpose is. You know, this isn't so much about judgment, like judging people or other things, but really perceiving like, okay, what is it that I'm meant to do? And always just understand that whatever decisions you make, it is always going to be protected by the divine. When you are in alignment with yourself and doing what you're supposed to be doing, you will always be protected by the divine. You know, I can't even stress that. Like a lot of times that, you know, when there are things that you know you need to be doing, when you know you need to be taking up this charge, like my whole thing was to take up this charge to do this spiritually, and also some of the things I'm currently doing. There was a lot of fear in that, because there's always this fear of, oh God, what am I giving up? What could I possibly lose? And don't even think about any of those things, because the universe will always have your back. You will always live not only abundantly, but in the way that you need to live, like and feel. Because not everybody's idea of abundance is the same. Some people can be pretty simple. Some people can be a little bit more extravagant. But don't judge. Because you see the Judgment card and you're assuming, well, I'm going to be judged for the things that I'm doing. And it's not so much that you're being judged, but it's really like, it's like a balance of powers. You really need to, like, when you're doing something, really understand and perceive and judge whether or not this is truly meant for you, because a lot of you guys right now aren't necessarily doing what you're meant to do, and the things that you are meant to do, you're not too keen on. You're kind of thinking, whoa, I don't know if I could do that, or what if people think about me in a certain way, or what if this, what if that. We're judging it in a more negative light when we shouldn't even be looking at that. Our judgment and how we should be looking at it is, how does this make me feel? That's the correct kind of judgment. It shouldn't be the fears and some of those things that kind of, you know, detract us from what we're really meant to do. The way we should be really judging is how this just make me feel overall. How is it affecting my circle? Is it in alignment with me? And you will, when you start using that, is kind of like your base versus like using fears and, you know, intimidation and you know, what are people going to think about me? You start to really, like, you know, really hone in on that. And I think the Judgment card right here is really trying to tell us that. Make sure that the lens that you're judging through is the correct one, and that you're using the right kind of judgment, because you guys we're moving into like this Lionsgate. It's literally like we should be where we need to be right now. We should be really honing in on our strengths, and there's really no going back. You know, we're talking about like ascension and elevating. There's really no going back to what we were doing before, all that nonsense and things that we were doing that just made no sense to us, right? Or didn't have any part in our lives. We need to move forward and start doing what we need to do to do that. So here we have some like, you know, some really, hey, we got 3 going on for Arcanum cards, because the next card isn't another Arcanum card. And this is what's supporting this, the whole Judgment thing. And that's a little bit, because you guys were heading into the fall season. We're starting to, you know, we might have a little bit of fun with the Sagittarius, but then, you know, we're really going to be hitting like some more of our spiritual meat and potatoes when you start hitting it, you know, we start going into Capricorn and Aquarius. And speaking of which, here we have is the number 5, which is the Hierophant. This is what's kind of supporting, you know, the Judgment card right now and how we should be viewing things. And Hierophant is really great. You know, it's a very traditional kind of card. It has a lot to do with conformity, but in a lot of ways, the Hierophant is really like also just a really good judge of character, right? Because he doesn't really, there's really no nonsense there. He really just kind of looked at things in a more conformative way, and maybe even a more black and white way. But sometimes we kind of need to do that. And sometimes we need some of the, you know, just a very like, you know, stoic way of looking at things rather than, you know, kind of jumping in on the emotional level. Although emotions are great signposts, we also need to be level-headed sometimes. And you know, the Hierophant is just that. And I think, you know, as we move more further into this year and we start to really hone in on what we need to do, you're going to really start getting a lot more of that, you guys. So I love that. It gets a little serious. So, you know, this is just some of the energy here. This is something that's been going on in the past, you guys. We've been passing through Lionsgate. A lot of 8s going on. Chariot's been really like moving us forward, you guys. This is our time to shine. You guys are in your element. Do what you're doing, whatever you're doing right now. If it doesn't feel good, move on. But most of you should be, because Lionsgate really just sets up the precedence for that. Most of you guys should be in a place where you're just absolutely shining, and that's where you need to kind of like, you know, move on forward too. Lionsgate really is just going to catapult you to where you need to go. And it gets a little bit, you know, now we need to start thinking about more, you know, looking more into like, hey, is this serving me? Is this in alignment with me? And we need to start, you know, making these judgment calls, you guys. You really need to be making some of those tough decisions. If you need help with that, I'm always here to offer you some help. But and there you go, and the Hierophant's there. Really just to kind of, you know, give you more of that like traditional, conventional sense. Just like being that strong figure. Definitely a lot of, you know, Capricorn and Aries energy in this card. Some of the tough cookies. I love this. I love the stories that I tell you guys. It's always quite amazing to me. I did pull from my map deck. I love this deck very much. Love the imagery. And what will help us through this? This is just for the week. Just some symbolisms and energy. And sometimes just some of the aspects that could help. And I love this. Guys, it's the 7th day today. And I pulled so many 7s. The star. And yeah, it's the Chariot. These 7 cards right here. Focus on some of that. The 7th day. And here we have Into the Unknown. And this card almost looks like the 2 of Swords to me, because she's blindfolded and into the unknown. And 7, like I said, is all about like, you know, tapping really into your spiritual self. Using your wisdom and knowledge. So here we go, you guys. I love this. Let's just put this together when we're talking about Judgment card, right? You know how, you know, when you're like trying to really judge anything, use your intuition. Right? You're almost doing it blindly. Like, you're not doing it based on what you see in the 3D world or how you perceive the 3D world. You're doing it based on like what you sense spiritually, intuitively. Use some of that right now. This is what it's really telling you. I can go ahead and post a little bit more in this card, but I'm just already getting the sense of that. You know, we're at the spiritual level, you guys. We're really tapping into that, and that's what we really need to do as we move forward, as we're trying to really decide whether or not we're in alignment. Well, let's just stay there. Use some of that intuition. Definitely tap into that. And, you know, go deep within yourself. You know, outside of your senses, outside of, you know, what you can see, touch, hear. Go outside of yourself. Spend some time meditating. Spend some time really going inward and really focusing on yourself and being able to do that. I'm really getting that right now, just like honing on yourself, because this is it, you guys. As we move forward, we're going into the 9th year, which is like going to be an end of a cycle. We are pretty much going to know where we're going to be at towards the end of the year. I mean, wherever it is we're meant to do, whatever it is we're going to be doing, at least for this cycle, because, you know, we're constantly doing cycles, we're really going to see like the end of that, the culmination of that towards the end of the year as we enter into like 2025, which is in essence the 9th year. And 9 is all about like the ending of cycles and like really like, you know, a sign of completion. So let's like really like go out with like a bang, you guys, because, you know, this is the 8th year. 8 is all about manifesting. I did a meditation yesterday, and that was one of the words that came up that was so strong, which was manifest. So, you know, I hope that we're all kind of honing in on a lot of that, you guys. I will definitely reach out to some of you guys that had sent me a test. I want to thank you all for joining me today. If you guys missed some of this reading, this was a really exciting reading because it is the super blue moon sturgeon reading in Aquarius, and we got a lot of energy going on. We're like smack in the middle of Leo season. We just ended with Lionsgate. It's really exciting times, you guys, and this is literally just the doors like opening wide open, because we should be moving on and, you know, in our trajectory heading towards like this 8 year with a bang. I hope you guys are all really experiencing that, really just shining right now, because, you know, I'm getting the star card. So definitely, I hope you guys are all definitely like shining in your element and really like finding whatever it is that makes you thrive, and just, you know, move on from there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I will reach out to everyone that's said hello. You guys all have an amazing day. Love and light. Bye-bye.